Hi there, this is Popo, I hope you'll fine. Welcome back to a new video of matches where I'm going to tell you a story. This is the story of the ultimate game that sets the fate of the world itself. This game is played between a hero and a villain, and this was the villain ID basically, as the plot suggests. And they are playing a game of matches to see who is going to win, who is going to lose, who is going to leave, who is going to die, and what cause should win. And as this is a game of matches, the hero is the better chess player than the villain, despite this was the villain ID to play matches, because this is typically a villain stuff. But the villain sees the death come in, says, maybe I have a trick to play. And he challenges the hero's ego by saying this. You dragon player, you're a very good player, and I think I'm going to lose this game. But at which cost? Basically going to snap all my pieces and then checkmate me with what's left. This is a very coward way to act. And the hero, very pumped, says, no, this is not true. I'm a better chess player than you may suggest. I can indeed checkmate you whenever you want. Oh really? So what about now? Yeah, I'll wait for you, checkmate me, make all the checks you want, and then checkmate me then. Yeah, let me think of a quiet move. Not this time. I want you to check me every move until the final move. That would be a checkmate. No, this is not fair, I can't do this. Quiet moves are part of the chess game. Yeah, you're basically a coward then. So faced to this kind of dilemma, the hero has to accept the villain's terms. So now, as the hero, you have to checkmate the villain using only checks. And you're playing the dragons against the Yeti, which is a very tricky faction, because these pieces can take two pieces on the same turn. But thankfully, with the dragons, every time you lose piece, you gain some. So maybe there's a way to trick this villain and win the game. When you think about this position as the hero, two moves are candidate. This move and this move. So let's cover each of the moves. This move can be tried, but you see very quickly that this is a very bad move, because this can be taken automatically. So this means that whenever they want, the villain can play any move they want, and this is taken. And basically, you're losing the game. So, this is not the way to proceed. So of course, the first move, as you correctly guessed, is egg to h5 check. And it doesn't sacrifice one egg, but two eggs, because the sage taking the egg takes both of them. But you see that these two eggs create whelps, so maybe there's a way to use them. So this is why the hero in the story smiles a lot and plays wyvern to e4 check. The villain normally doesn't want to lose his sage, so he plays king to h6. We have hydra to e6, and here the king's pretty stuck. You can decide to delay a little the inevitable, but you're going to lose the game. But actually the villain thinks that by placing the sage here, he still has a way to survive, because if you take here, the brute is here to take automatically, so the Yetis might survive. But this little whelp move with whelp to g5 check finishes the game off, because if the king goes here to h5, the hydra goes here, and this is the mate. And if the king decides to go to h7, this is also mate with hydra captures g6. Even this king going to be captured by the rook next move, this would be still a check, so the king has to move, and this king can't move. So the hero is facing his victory, but the villain has the ability to rewind time. So he rewinds time and go back to this very position, because his rewind time is also limited in terms of time. So yeah, don't ask, this is part of the plot. So he goes to this very position, say, yeah, you're very clever, but I'm more clever than that. And as the hero plays the same move, suddenly the villain plays sage to g6. What a move. And here normally you're supposed to take, because you have to perform a check, so which with piece you should take. Maybe with the whelp, this is the small piece. But now, as this is going still to be checked, the king moves to h6, and suddenly you see that this square is covered by the brute, so you don't have any check. So your only check is to play with the whelp. And then the king hides to h5. Your only check is to play wyvern to f3, but then the king goes back to g6. And then you have this check, but the king would escape. Or maybe you can try this check, but the king would escape here and be okay for the rest of the game. So basically, the hero is facing some danger. So the villain is pretty happy. But the hero also has the ability to rewind time and space. I don't know why, because this is part of the plot. So the hero thinks a lot and says, oh yeah, maybe, but let me show you. Takes this very move, and now wyvern captures. The villain has all this time because this is going to be taken automatically. So he thinks, okay, I can just snap this whelp, so I would take 2 pieces. But the hero smiles at that time and says, you're taking a wyvern, my dude. So I taking your brute too, because this is just surrounding. So now the Hydra takes the brute with check. The villain is forced to go to h6, and then the whelp finishes the job. A very nice checkmate indeed. But this is not over. Because the villain grins and says, yeah, during that time I saw that there's some trick you didn't see. And yeah, in fact, there's a trick. After this, the king can just ignore and play to h6. And now you're out of checks. Basically, you can try this, but the king is going to hide and you don't have a check. Maybe you can try to bait him, but he would take and then would hide. So not a very good way, and also he would try to snap this. So you don't have a very cool check, unfortunately, to give against the king. Also, if you try to get this line, then the king would just hide. Let me, for example, show you. Let's see that you go here. The king has a lot of ways to proceed. Maybe he wants to go here. This move baits. And then go here. And you see that the king has a lot of mobility and you wouldn't have enough material to mate. So you see by yourself. So the villain at that time is pretty happy. But the hero has still some cards upon his sleeves. Because he considered playing the wyvern to e4 with check. But what about to f5? And suddenly something changes. Because if you see carefully, some lines aren't the same. For example, if you decide to play the same stuff as before, now the whelp can take. And after the king is forced to go here, then the whelp goes here. Then the king is forced to go. But you see that the range of the Hydra is long enough to get the wyvern now to g4 before he was here. Now he's here, he's also controlling that. So after king to g6, the Hydra finishes the job. Very impressive. But this is not over. Because maybe there are other ways, because as this is to f5, maybe this is changing something. After this move, maybe he can take with the sage, and then the Hydra recaptures. Maybe this is not enough, but unfortunately it is. After king to h6, whelp goes to g5, force the king to go down, and then the dragon mates with g4. Incredible. But this is not over, because there's a last line that we have to cover. After this, king to h6 is still here, and now before with this kind of line at the end you had this kind of Hydra to h3, if you remember well. So with the Hydra on the path, maybe that would change. Let's see. Hydra to e6 check. The king has no square, maybe he can delay, but again same trend as before. But now the whelp goes here. If the king goes here, this is the same mate as before. So the king now goes to h5, but unfortunately this is not enough, because the wyvern goes here, and this is mate. Very sad, indeed. So the villain tries to think of a line. Maybe, at first, he was thinking of king to g6, but of course this doesn't work, because there's y1 to f5. If you take, this is basically checkmate, and if you go here and you decide to take the egg, I'm going to show you the line maybe, and decide to take the egg, this is not enough, because you take here, and whether the king would go, this is mate. If you go here, there's check, then mate, and if you go here, there's check, then mate. So that doesn't work. So of course the villain says that this is not a line to play. So he thinks a little, and then he smiles a lot to say, I guess I found the line. What about brute to h6? Oh, what a tricky line. But let's see. y1 to f4 was working, right? No, because now the sage captures the y1, and both y1 are removed off the board, and you don't have a lot of material to mate, or maybe enough. Hydra to f5, check is played. King to g7 is forced, and normally you just have to slide the egg up, and then this is a simple mate, because you can't take, because that would create a weld that targets the king. So this is mate, right? No, this is not mate. Why? Because the king can't take, and you screwed. Oh shoot. So maybe there's something else. Maybe we can try this line. Still not. Still same trick. Oh shoot. So it has to find different line. So Hydra to e7 is played. King to g6 is tried. Hydra to f6 is tried, but the king goes back to h7. What a brutal stuff. So is there a way to make some progress? Maybe, maybe not. We have to see. Maybe there was another way here to deal with this. Maybe it has another response, I don't know. So after this, what should we play? The hero thinks a lot and says, oh, I got it. I got to sacrifice the egg with check. Can this egg be taken with the igloo? No, because it creates a whelp, and then this is check. If you go here, this is checkmate. So the king is forced to go here, but then this is check. The king is forced to go here, and then Hydra to g5 is checkmate. Incredible stuff, isn't it? But then something unexpected happens, because after this combination, this move happens. Oh shoot. By taking here, there's no egg left, and you have two miserable pieces, and one of those is going to be captured. Unless if you try a double check. This double check seems useless, because you don't have any material left. So maybe you can try this double check, but this is not enough, because the king can try to ignore, can try to go here. Even taking is fine, and you don't have any checkmate. Or maybe you can try some trick by baiting the king one time, and trying to bait the king second time. If you take, then you have check. You're forced to go here, and this is mate. But the king very kindly can decide to go back here, and even with all this kind of check, he's safe. So this is not the way to proceed. So we have to find something else. But after thinking a lot, there's some very interesting stuff. Because after brute to h6, we have something. y1 to f4. Sage captures. But what about egg to e7? f7, excuse me, check. And here, you can't take. Because if you take, you create a whelp. And basically this is going to be the end of the game. I can show you if you want. Yeah, you see, basically this is over. You protect and you're mate. So you're out of danger. You're basically winning, right? No, because on this move, egg to f7, there's king to g6. And now you don't have any right continuation. If you try to play this move, then king captures. Okay, then you can try to play this move. No. King goes here. Still not. Incredible. So maybe there's... Oh no, this is pinned. So you're basically losing. So you have to find something else. This is why our hero thinks a lot and says, is it very important to check immediately with the wyvern? I can maybe directly check with Hydra to e7 with check. Okay, I lose one of my eggs, but normally I have enough pieces to make a mate. And here, of course, the villain loves and takes again. But here, the hero comes with a brilliant move. Can you find it? The move is wyvern to f5 check, but double check. At the same time, this vanishes, this gives a check. So the king is forced to move here. And then Hydra goes to f6. The king is forced again to move. Now the wyvern takes with check. The king is forced to take. And then the Hydra finishes the game on g5. Because basically, this is over. Oh, very cool line. So the villain starts to doubt, says, I still have something to do. Let's see. Go here, brute. Here says, what about I come back here and you lose an egg for nothing and I still have my sage on the board. Yeah, this is true. But I still have this move to be played. And now the villain realized that there's nonsense, he would lose pieces, but normally that wouldn't work. But with the doubt, he tries to go to h6, because every time the king tries to run, this is the more tricky line. So he tries king to h6. But then comes the monstrous move. Egg to f6 check. This can't be really taken. If you take, then this is check. And now basically the game is over. So you have to interpose that and this is mate. So you can't take this egg. So after that you have to play king to h5. But then Hydra to e8 check and the king has no square. So you have to interpose something, right? If you decide to go here, then you're going to get a very violent mate. So you have immediately to put the sage here. But now the wyvern takes. Of course this is going to be taken automatically, but the only problem is that you have something to do, so you have to move the king. Or maybe you can block this way. Oh no, because here there's a very brutal check with a mate next move. So maybe this is not the way to proceed, and even you can decide to take. So this is why the king immediately runs here, but this is not enough, because this is mate. So here, this becomes to be very complicated. So the villain thinks, says, maybe I have the way to get something better. Let's see again. Go here, brute h6, Hydra e7, brute g7, wyvern f5, king h6, egg f6, and now the villain comes, oh, maybe sage g6 should work, because even if you try to get this check, then you're forced to go here, and then this is not working. So the egg is forced to take. So maybe there's a chance. King h5 is pretty false, because this piece can't move. So king h5 creates a wealth. Normally, maybe on the light squares, this is okay. No, because there's Hydra to e8 again, and this king has no square. So you're blocking the way, and then you get checkmated. The villain starts to sweat a lot and a lot. He says, okay, maybe there's something better. And yeah, I have a last line. After here, with brute to h6, I draw to e7, rook to g7, wyvern to f5. He tries to sacrifice with the sage, and bets the fact that with this fortress, it wouldn't be checkmated. Unfortunately for him, there's hydra to e4 check, and now you don't have anything to block, so you're forced to go here. So the game continues with whelp to g5 check. This is the only move to be played, so the king escapes here, and now the hero thinks a lot and says, I guess I got this. I draw to f3 check, king to g6, and now egg to f6 check, and now the king, there's no trick with this egg, you can't be taking it, so the king is forced to go here. And very coolly, the hero is about to play this move, but he remembers that playing that causes this move to happen, and suddenly that doesn't work, so he has to play this move. The brute blocks, and then you take, and this is mate. The villain is just panicking and starts to melt down, but the hero continues. Yeah, you're true, but on this line you forgot something also. There's something even more brilliant, because after sacrificing a lot of stuff, I decided on this game to sacrifice an egg, right? And then I decided to sacrifice 2 wyverns, right? After a check, another move, go here, go here. I don't even need this to be in the game, because this is at the right place. I would sacrifice a pawn, and as you're forced to take, I can just now put the hydra here, and this is mate. And this is on this very position that the villain decided to resign the game and lost his life and his bet. End of the story. I hope you really like this stories, this study. I have been making this problem for quite a long time, and I submitted very long time ago, I think in November, on the Matches Discord server, but nobody seemed interested to try to solve it. So here's the solution. If I missed some lines, please tell in the comments and I can give you the refutation, because actually I gave only the principal lines, the main lines, because everything has the refutation here. So feel free to like the video if you want, and we're going to see each other next time, I hope sooner, if there's a matches update. See you then, bye.